Hello, Burke here with another tech tool tip for you. This one covers end of the year. Maybe you're a graduating student, a student transferring to another school district or moving to another town next year. Maybe you're a teacher that's taught for 35, 40 years and is retiring or going on to bigger and better things. There's lots of reasons why you might find yourself leaving our amazing school district. And if you are, you're wondering, how do I keep all of my information that I've amassed over the years, my Google Mail and Drive files and all of those things? Well, there's some pretty simple tools and some things out there that you can do. And we're going to work through how do you go through and get your information to a personal account. First thing that you need to do is have a non-district associated Google Mail account or Gmail account. So it can't be a Yahoo account or an AOL account or a Netscape account. If you have a Netscape account, this will not work for you. So you need to make sure that you've got everything else that is just a Google account. So if you don't have one, what you would want to do is first go over to support.google.com and create a Gmail account. And you could create a new account from the Google account creation page. You can also just type in create Gmail account into your Google search Omnibox search bar and it'll take you there. So once you've created your Gmail account, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you're signed into both accounts. Lots of ways that you can sign into both accounts. You can be signed in one account on your phone, one account on your computer, or I like to have multiple sign-ins on my account and manage your sign-ins. So the way I do it is you click on your profile picture for your primary Google account, and this is going to be your school account. And then down here, what you can do is add another account. And you can see here that I added this school test home Gmail account. And so this is going to be where we're going to transfer all of our files, which is the demo site for this, and it ends with gmail.com. Okay, so I'm signed into both of those. Now, if I'm not signed in, it would say next to it signed out in gray, and I could just click on this account and I can easily go back and forth between the two accounts. So this is good when you're trying to check emails or do things from both accounts or make sure that you've got everything. So once you've gotten that, what you need to do is make sure that you're on your school account, which would be your primary district account. And you're going to go to a website that is called Takeout, or it's google.com. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that you put in slash transfer. Okay, so that's going to be the first one that we're going to do. So we're going to go to that. Again, it's takeout.google.com/transfer. Now, this is the absolute easiest way to get your content from one email to the next email. So the first thing that you're going to do is it's going to ask you to transfer your content. So you have to enter a destination email. And this is going to be the email of your other account that you've got here. So this would be my school test home at gmail.com. So the one that you want the information to go to. So if I go to school test home at gmail.com. Okay, so when I put that in here, so then what I'm going to do is I hit this to send a code. And what it's going to do is it will send a code to my destination email where I will verify my information. So I would then go over into my school test home email account that I just created. And I would open up this one. I don't want to open up on the school transfer. I'm going to open this up in Gmail. So let's switch over to this one, which is my school test one. Open up my Gmail account. And in here, you will see that I have and I just set this up so we can get it. But what I'll get is my Google code that I will enter to verify my information. So once I've verified my information, I would click the verify button. And then down here, number 3 will open up and I'll have 2 options. I can copy my Gmail and I can copy my Gmail and my Drive. And what this will do is this will take everything and you can just turn them on or off. And what this does is it copies all Gmail files that you have, all emails that you sent and received. And it copies all of the Drive files that you either have edit rights to or are in your drive. So if it's something that is shared with you, you would need to first go into your school account and add it to your drive to make sure that it's something that's in your drive, because this only copies your drive files and files that you have edit rights to. So if it's something that somebody shared with you but you didn't add it to your drive, or it's not in your drive, those files would not be copied. So there's going to take a little work on the front end. If it's stuff that maybe somebody shared with you that you want, you would first have to add it to your drive to make sure that you've got that. We'll talk about how do we do that here real fast. So if maybe there was something before I started my transfer that I wanted in my drive, I could go up here and I would go to my drive and I would go with shared with me. And so this would be stuff that's shared with me. And so then I've got things that are shared with me. So Mr. Double just shared some recent stuff with me. So if this was something that, I wanted to do, or like our our collaborative team agendas, if there's things like that I wanted to do. So if it's something that I wanted added to my drive, if I clicked on it and then added that to my drive, so our agendas or whatever it is, I would click on it. And I could right click on it. And what I would do is if I made a copy of it, that would put a copy of it into my drive. So then that would be the easiest way to get it into my drive if it was something that I wanted to do. So when you make a copy of it, that would put it into your drive. So you would have it there for you. Once you've got everything set up, you just transfer your information and everything will move over to your new account. And what's neat with this is when it does move over, now obviously I'm not going to do this because I've got years of stuff and I don't want to bog down this other email account. But what'll happen is it'll go in under your drive file will create a drive file in this new drive folder with the name of your school district account. So mine would be burke.agner@ailschools.org, and all of my drive information would be in that folder. Emails would copy over to your Gmail account, and they would have the same thing. All emails would come from burke.agner@ailschools.org. Emails also come in with a label of the date and time that you started the transfer. So if you needed to look for something from your file folder and email, it would come in with the label of today's date and time. And then it also would, so then that would have all of the information so that you've got there. Now, here's the problem with that. We're talking about, okay, well, what about my Google Slides and my presentations and all of my calendar events and all the things that I've got amassed elsewhere? Unfortunately, transfer does not get everything. It just gets your drive files that you have edit rights to and are in your drive, and your emails. Now, these don't take any emails away or take any drive files away. It makes a copy of everything. It can take up to a week, depending on how much time. If you've been with our district for 35 years and you've been using Google since 1980, then you would want to make sure that you're give it some time, because it would take up to a week for Google to transfer all that stuff. There's nothing else that you need to do because everything is done on the back end with the Google server. So you don't have to download anything, put a USB drive in. There's nothing you need to do. It will transfer everything over for you. Now, if you want more control over what you're going to do, what we're going to do is go to the second piece of it, which is just Google Takeout. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the same webpage, which is takeout.google.com, but we're going to take off the end, which is the /transfer, and we're just going to go to takeout.google.com. When you go to this site, this gives you a lot more control over what it is that you would like to get. But what you're doing here is it's not transferring it specifically to another drive device. This is just creating a downloadable file that you can take with you. So if you're going to do this, you would want to have either a computer with a lot of memory that you could download everything to, or you would want to insert a USB external flash drive that you're going to save or export this download file to. So with this one, what you can do is you can select all of the data that you would like to include. Okay, and this has got lots of information that you want to look at. If you have all of your calendar data, you can select which calendars do you want to do. You can do your Chrome bookmarks. You can do any Google sites that you have, from classic sites, not new sites. So if you're using the new sites, this won't do that for you. Classroom posts, submissions, rosters, you could get those if you're wanting to get that information. Your contacts, there's all kinds of information in here that you can look at trying to save, and you would just check box which ones that you would like to do. Once you've got everything set up, and you've got everything that you would like to save, you would first hit the next step, and this would give you, okay, what's the frequency or the file type that you want to do. So what you can do is, by default, you get one export for it, and that export will give you a download link that's hosted on the Google servers, not through our school district, through the Google servers, that you click once and you download that file. And depending on how much information you're trying to copy over, it could be a pretty sizable download. And it will give you what's the file type. And so by default, it's a zip. You want to leave it as a zip file. And then what you want to do is, if you're worried about the size, maybe you have a small flash drive, you don't have a 120 gig flash drive or 128 gig flash drive, you could change what size you want to make it, and it will give you multiple download files. Obviously, if you've got a very large drive, or you've got a lot of space on your Chromebook, or not Chromebook, on your PC or Mac, you could change this to a larger file size. And all this does is says, okay, once our download file has reached 50 gig, I'm going to close it, make a new file. Larger files take longer to download, depending on how long you've been with the district, how much information you've got, what all you've selected. It could make it and change, where you need to be with it. Also, you might have some issues depending on your internet service provider to downloads and upload links and the size of the files that you could do. So to be safe, if you stay in this 1, 2, and 4 gigabyte area, but you'll have lots of files. If you really want to kind of push the envelope, go to the 50 gig, put it onto a really large flash drive, or save it onto your Chrome or your PC, and you'll be good to go. Once you're done, you can create this export, and it would create the export file for you. The other option that you have, if you're worried about a backup, or maybe I lose my device or lose my USB flash drive, you can create an export that will give you you get 6 exports. So basically what it does is it gives you a redundant backup for a year. So you could download the file immediately. Well, it could take a little while to get the file built for you, but when the file is built, you could get a file. Then 2 months later, if you lost it, you could go back, get another file, do that a period of 6 times. This gives you a lot more control, but then when you get those file types, and we're not going to go into all this, you would have to then import those various file types into, like, the iCalendar for your Google Calendar. You would then bring your iCalendar file over into your new calendar or whatever calendar that you're using. So there's a little more work that's entailed in it, but you do have more control and can get more data. Hopefully you found this a useful video, and good luck with wherever you might be going if you're leaving our wonderful district to move on to bigger and better things.